Hi, everyone. Welcome to Module 4 or Week 4, however you want to call it. So this week, we're going to be focusing on two major areas, socialization and groups and organizations. I put these 2 weeks together because, or these two significant concepts together because I feel that they interact best compared to some of the other topics. So socialization is the opportunity for the individual to learn patterns of culture and how they through interacting and learning. Freud had made an attempt to address socialization by looking at the individual, and he by understanding the individual, he was able to develop three major parts of the personality: the id, the ego, and the superego. That study carried through for many years, and we cannot do any type of social research without relying back on to Freud's earlier work. Piaget then took it a next step further, and he decided that he was going to study cognition and see how people, how and why people think and learn. It's critically important to understand why an individual thinks. In previous classes, I talk about my criminology classes that I teach and how important it is to understand the criminal. I'm not understanding the crime. We understand the crime. The crime has elements. We fulfill those elements, and we can prove that a crime has been committed. It's why the crime was committed, and understanding society, the biological functions, the physiological functions, the psychological functions, and our earlier theories in neoclassical and classical approaches to understanding crime. So this is criminology is a break off from from Piaget's earlier works. So then we move into Kohlberg. Pretty interesting stuff. He identified how individuals determined right and wrong through judgment, and looking at why we define our laws, our norms, or behaviors. The next part of that was Gillian. He had developed a theory of gender and moral development. He kind of led into what we look at. Well, he developed the theory based upon already established sex type roles. He basically said in the theory of gender and development that each gender has its different standards of what is right. And it's kind of backward thinking because it ignores the fact that some individuals look at it in one way and others looking in a particular issue in a different way. It's not necessarily associated with gender. Then we have Mead that we're talking about this week. He developed the theory of social self and how social behaviors explain social experience. So when we look at our individual self, and we go through those development stages, how we interact with other people, those build our experiences, which then build our personality. So one of the most profound researchers, sociological researchers and theorists was Erickson. He had developed the 8 stages of the development. I want you to take a look at these and then kind of compare them against people that you interact with on a daily basis, or people that you're close with, and see where they are in those. Then we're going to move on to this week, and it's important to do that so that when we start talking about the prep and you're writing your assignment, I want you to incorporate the agents of social change, or the agents of socialization. And it's important that we're bombarded with information and expectations, norms, and values, and our morals from all different angles. And we can sum those up pretty simply through family, school, peer groups, mass media, and television and politics. Television and politics is a combined group. These are all of the agents and all of the information that's input into us over our lifespan that helps us develop who we are. The second part of, or second major concept that I'd like to discuss this week are the groups and organizations. It's simply defined as 2 or more people sharing similar experiences and interests. There are There are several different types of groups and organizations. For the purpose of this quick video, I want to focus in on primary and second groups. These are personal. They're people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes they can be small, but they are your primary relationships that you deal with on a regular basis, and they're intimate. Not intimate in the sense of that's your partner, more intimate that you trust the person, or the people that you're sharing your life with. Then there are we move on to the concept of group leadership. We've narrowed it down. Cooney had narrowed it down, and we've kind of accepted this since there's a lot of research around group leadership in organizational structures, kind of like the Mitzberg model or mechanical model. We look at how groups and organizations operate. And group leadership can be broken down into two areas: task-oriented and people-oriented. So everything else falls in place after you can narrow it, that type of leadership down to those two types of roles. And then there's group conformity. I will mention in class, and I mention it, probably mentioned it in weeks past, in other videos, is group conformity is essential for groups and organizations to operate effectively, and for individuals to fall in line with an ideology of the group. We as social creatures, we will modify our personalities, our approaches. We will modify our outlook based upon acceptance. And individuals will do this in sports teams, in classrooms, in political environments, any major social group that we feel that we fit, but we might not agree with all of the tenets of an ideology. The group and the organization demand conformity. And so if you're somebody that in the most recent political spectrum, if you're somebody that's siloed, then you found your group. You're either a Democrat or a Republican. So you conform to it. However, if you are a moderate and you walk that line, then there is no group conformity because you will find disagreements. And typically, most groups don't enjoy conflict. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick little video, and I hope you enjoy the week. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.